Welcome to the NFL Kickoff. I'm your host, Tom Zwiller, joined by my co-host,
Tony Nemetti.
Our job is to get all of you in the audience ready for the upcoming weekend of NFL action. We're going over Week 10's games, every single game really quickly, lightning quick speed. But first, a word from our sponsors. NFL Kickoff is presented by DraftKings Sportsbook. Looking to bet on the 10th week of NFL action? This week, the Kansas City Chiefs, they're struggling, but they are a now winning team. They travel to Las Vegas in a battle with the Raiders that will shape the outcome of the AFC West. There's a lot of other good games on the slate. We'll get to those, like I said, later on. But check out the link in the description to get a deposit match up to $1,000 through DraftKings and the Sports 2.0 network. As we always do on NFL Kickoff, we begin with Thursday Night Football, a game in which the 8.5-point favorite Ravens went down and played the Miami Dolphins. The game was expected to be a blowout, to be honest, a high-scoring affair for the Ravens to really demonstrate their offense, and where a struggling Miami Dolphins defense would probably get pummeled. But we didn't actually see that. In fact, we saw 6-3 Dolphins at halftime, which was kind of a surprising outcome. Not a single touchdown in the first half of action. In the third quarter, we got some heroics of Tua Tagovailoa. He came in, mind you, with an injury to replace a then-injured Jacoby Brissett. The two combined to go 19 of 36 and came up just shy of 300 yards. Neither had an interception or a passing touchdown, but that's okay because Tua did it himself on the ground. However, I think it's fair to say that the star of the Dolphins was the defense, which ended the Ravens' streak of 51 regular season games with at least 14 points. The Ravens, of course, only had 10 in the 10-22 loss. Jackson also faced the most blitzes from a defensive back group this season with 24. The Miami defense finally looked like what it was hyped up to be in the offseason by certain people like me. I had them as being a top 5 unit this year. So, Tony, what impressed you? Was it more the offensive showing by Tua? He came in late, injured, and was able to steer the Dolphins to a win, or was it the Dolphins defense that finally showed up today?
I think it was the Dolphins defense, not even so much because of the defense, because of the scheme that they were in. So as you said, they were blitzing a ridiculous amount against Lamar. And I think we've kind of entered the era of the NFL where teams have figured out this is how you have to play Lamar Jackson to take him out of the game. We've seen that if you take his running aspect out, he's not a great passer. He's a decent passer. He's somewhat okay. I would say a decent word is probably mediocre. He's a mediocre quarterback when you take away his running. He becomes very one-dimensional. It's the way to beat the Ravens is to limit Lamar. I think we've seen that every single time a team is able to blitz successfully and really get home on him, this team just kind of falls apart. They don't really have a whole lot of pieces that he can just rely on. It's not like last year the meme was with Patrick Mahomes. If he's getting blitzed, he just says, screw it, Tyreek down there somewhere, and he would just throw it up. Lamar doesn't really have that. He has like a wide receiver one. This is the best wide receiver room he's worked with, but it's not like that. So I do think that if you can get home on him and you can kind of make him squeamish a little bit in the pocket, make it so he can't run, that's how you beat this team. And we've seen a couple teams do that so far this year, and it's worked very well every time. Like you said, this game was supposed to be a blowout. Dolphins were not supposed to win this game. They were supposed to get run over. I thought they would get run over. I was wrong. Starting the week off great, as per usual. But yeah, it was a really interesting game to watch because the Dolphins just schemed for it so well.
You dared me to take the Dolphins, and with it 3-6, I probably should have.
Yeah.
And I definitely regret not doing so. Here's the thing is that I genuinely do believe that if Jacoby Brissett stays in the game for the duration of the game, it's a different outcome. Like, I think that he is not going to lead the offense in the same way that Tua did. I am much higher on Tua than I am on Jacoby Brissett. And I think that matters a little bit. I also think there's something to be said for the conditions of Florida, right? We talked about this in week 1, Tony, with the Packers going to Jacksonville instead of New Orleans for that first week 1 matchup. You know, the weather affected people, and it was mentioned on the broadcast that this could actually be, it serves as an atrophy against the Ravens. The Ravens are going to become more tired quicker, and the Dolphins are used to it. They're conditioned to it, so it's not a huge problem for them. So I think that, those two things need to be looked at. But yeah, I mean, 100% credit to Brian Flores. This defensive scheme worked out really well. He's a defensive-minded guy, obviously. He comes from the Bill Belichick tree, so I obviously have massive respect for pretty much anything that he does. I'm a huge fan of Brian Flores. Tony and I were talking off air. I'd actually take Flores as my young head coach. If I got to pick all of the young head coaches, I would take Flores. I know you said, would you take Staley, Tony?
I don't know if I would take Staley. I mostly just said that as like I know we've been very high on Staley with this Chargers team. This Chargers team, I will say the kind of knock on it is like the first couple weeks they looked phenomenal, and since they've looked good, but they haven't quite looked like they did those first couple weeks. So I think that's a little bit of a knock on Staley. But I do think that Flores is not a bad coach to take.
Yeah, I mean, I know that I listened to the Dan Le Batard show, and I know they were talking about Flores is approaching a firing territory, which I think is ridiculous. The fact that he steered them to a winning record last year, and that I know the defense has had its problems, and that's a discussion for a longer day. But I think he's played really well. I mean, he's coached really well, so I would actually like to keep him on if I'm the Dolphins. But to hop back to my Tua versus Jacoby, my model, the Zelo model. It has Jacoby Brissett as a 46.61 passer, and then has him as a negative rusher because of the 6 fumbles he has had this season. So, I mean, that obviously that matters, right? I think that should matter. Tua is a 115 pure passer, and he actually has a 20 because he has more touchdowns than he does fumbles, I believe, at 3-2. So I think, like I said, I think that that's a very different game. But the Dolphins, does this do a whole lot for them besides maybe dampen their draft pick a little bit?
I don't think so. This team's not going to the playoffs. Like, whatever you want to say.
It'd be pretty hard.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's possible, but
anything's possible.
A lot of things would have to go right for this team to even make it in on the last wild card. So I don't think this team goes into the playoffs. Realistically, they're just kind of playing for pride at this point, and
your job if you're Flores.
Yeah, if you're Flores, you kind of have to play. You have to play to keep your job, which we've said kind of is stupid because this team. Anyway. I think it's the team mostly that's fallen. Like last year, we saw the team do very well. We saw it was a very young team. It was developing really nicely. Flores was coaching very well, and this year, completely different. It's like the Washington football team. Last year, they were a good team. This year, they were supposed to be great. They just never took that step, and they regressed quite a lot. So I guess I would kind of want to see next year, see what happens next year, see if maybe we had kind of like a sophomore slump on the whole team. Like I know we see that a lot in quarterbacks. Usually doesn't really happen on teams. We saw it go from good, now they're bad. Maybe they take that and they just go great next year. We'll have to see, but I don't think he's in firing territory yet. No.
Yeah, I mean, I know that the number one knock is the offense, right? But if the offense came in with Tua and won 22-10 over the Ravens, who have a respectable defense, I think that shows at least a trend in the right direction, right? 538 going into the weekend, they had the Dolphins going as a 6-11 team. Do you get behind that?
Ooh, 6-11. I don't hate that. I think their ceiling is maybe 7 or 8 wins.
Yeah, I mean,
so I think the 6-11 is reasonable.
I would assume that because last night they had them as a 70-30 favorite, at 70-30 dog to lose the game. That probably maybe looks a little bit more like you were saying, 7-10. Their 538, their algorithm gives them a 1% chance of making the playoffs, which is about right. Looking over their schedule, they have both of their Jets games ahead of them still. They're at the Jets next week. Not next week, I believe they have their bye. But the next game they play is at the Jets, then the Panthers, the Giants, the Jets, the Saints, the Titans, the Patriots. Let's just assume that I think it's fair to say they probably could go 4-0 in that next stretch and then go 0-3 to end the season.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. I was going to say probably about 4 of those games are
I would assume are
pretty
probably
easy wins. Yeah, they're winnable games at the very least.
They should, at a worst, go 2-2 at the worst.
I guess with those Jets, you never know with the Jets anymore. I mean, they beat the Titans and the Bengals. Who knows what's going to happen?
If the Jets put Zach Wilson in, they should go 2-2 at the worst.
If they put Zach Wilson in, they should go 4-0. If they put Mike White in, maybe 2-2.
Yeah. All right, let's hop on over to the Ravens. Lamar had a really odd night. We've kind of talked about it. We'll look at film in a little bit. He went 26 of 43, which I did not feel like he threw the ball 43 times, or at least dropped back. He did have 238 passing yards, so kudos to him. But, I think most of those yards were accrued on that last drive where the Dolphins were really in prevent defense. What?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna
Oh,
say.
okay. He threw an interception again. Like, there's that stat like late game interception should probably be chucked out, and that's probably one that you should chuck out. He was sacked 4 times, and he only had 39 rushing yards of the team 91. So 94. The team once again failed to reach 100, which I believe they had the longest active streak in the NFL earlier this season for games where they scored at least 100 rushing yards. Uh, we've had a really few chaotic weeks of football the
Mm-hmm.
past few weeks, and it feels like we have to reevaluate everybody in the AFC. The Ravens have obviously had their ups and downs, right? Like they lost to the Raiders in overtime, but then they beat the Chiefs, but then then they beat the Colts, then they beat the Chargers, and then they lost to the Bengals in a horrible blowout. Now, they survived the Vikings at home, and now they just lost to the Dolphins in a really weird one. So are they good?
Well, first of all, I just want to actually just jump back to something you said there. Is that something that people are arguing that you should chuck out late game interceptions?
I meant more like like the deep ball Hail Mary interceptions that count against someone on the stats on the spreadsheet that
Okay.
they probably shouldn't.
Are you saying that we should chuck the Lamar interception though?
No, I'm just saying that I guess my thing was if you're gonna say, those stats are garbage time stats because it's prevent defense. Part of me is also like to be fair to Lamar, but I see what you're saying. I was not advocating for the touchdowns. I mean the interception to be removed. I'm saying that late game interceptions where they are like that Hail Mary, the living on a prayer kind of throw.
Mm-hmm.
Are
Okay, I was just
are
making
different.
sure. I was going to say that was a pretty legit interception. I don't know if I want to chuck that.
No, that one was, but that one was. You're absolutely right.
Okay.
But anyway, my point: are the Ravens good right now? 538 going into the week. It had them as actually one of the highest chanced teams to win the AFC North, an 85% chance to make the playoffs, and a 59% chance to win the division. They've obviously dropped off a little bit since then. 538 actually dropped them about 47 points, which matters. Their hopes of making the playoffs have dipped to 67th, and their chances of winning the division to 39, which is really drastic and kind of surprising. So what do you make of it, Tony?
This team should be good. I don't really know why they aren't. If they continue like this, then I think that what we could be seeing is this team could be one of the greatest midseason fall-off teams I think we've seen in a long time, where they beat some great teams. They have some close games as well that maybe they shouldn't have, which have shed a little bit of doubt in the team. But overall, they were a very, very good team, beating very good teams. And then they just do this. And the past couple weeks have been kind of scary weeks for Ravens fans. And now that's kind of come to a point where now you've lost to a Dolphins team you should have run over. And if
the
it
Bengals.
continues, if the Bengals, if it continues to go down this stretch, then this could be a team that falls off harder than most teams we've seen randomly in the middle of the season. Because you're right, this team should be great. They aren't a great defense.
You'd think they would be.
Yeah, they're not a great defense, but they're consistently good across all the areas. The offense has been overall good up until recently, and I do think that it's because teams now have the formula on Lamar. Just throw everything, including the kitchen sink, at him, and cause some issues in the backfield. Make it so he can't run. Maybe keep one linebacker back just to spy. And if you can take away his running game and have even somewhat decent coverage downfield, he's not going to be able to make that throw. He's shown that time and time again. He is not the guy that can make the throw into tight coverages. If he makes a deep throw, and you can clip this and ship this. If you watch his highlights this entire year, when he makes a throw deep, 99% of the time it's a busted coverage. The guy's wide open. He won't even attempt it if it's covered because he knows he can't make that throw. He's not that guy.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see a busted coverage play. I honestly don't know what to say. Like, coming into the season, I said because the Ravens went out and they got Sammy Watkins, they drafted Rashad Bateman. I said, like, they fixed it, right? Like, Lamar should be a perfectly good passer. I don't think he's a bad passer by any means, but I do think that, he's kind of hitting the ceiling of he can't make the huge throw. Like, I mean, I don't know if this Dolphins game is a fair one. Like, I think that interception, the reason I kind of want to throw it out, and we'll get to it in a little bit, is because it feels like he's kind of forced to make the play there, to make the throw. Otherwise, the game is kind of over. Not that it wasn't already over.
That's your job, though. You got to make the throw. If you throw a pick, we can't eliminate that, because if you throw the touchdown there, are you saying that we would eliminate that? Because that would only be fair.
No, again, like I'm saying, in that situation, I don't think anybody short of maybe Aaron Rodgers is making that throw, because that's just like we'll look at it in a second, and we'll get to that in a second. I just I don't know that last night is a very confusing result for me. The Bengals was a very confusing result for me, and I just genuinely don't know what to do. And I have a theory I want to run by you, actually. So a lot of people have been talking about the Ravens, like kind of late game heroics.
Mm-hmm.
Like, look at the Colts. That was a game they probably realistically should have lost. The Colts offense can turn on a brain cell. The Ravens trailed 22-3 in the third quarter in that game. Mm-hmm. And then in the Vikings, they had a similar deficit of 24-10 in the third quarter. So here's my theory. As teams go down more and more, they stop worrying about the rush more and more. Mm-hmm. Right? Because you play the pass, because teams are going to pass to get out of large deficits.
Yeah.
As this happens, that is actually the Ravens' strength, right? The fact that now rushing is there for the Ravens. So I think that it almost by going down, the way teams play a team that is down by that many points, it's almost actually allowing the Ravens to catch up, because it allows the Ravens to play the strengths of Lamar has time in the pocket and can rush if need be. Does that make sense to you, or
it makes sense, but at the same time, I don't know why. Like, I've never understood why. Like, let's say you have a team. You have Team A and Team B. Team A has been playing, let's see, this defensive scheme. It's been dominated all night. They're up 25-10, whatever. We'll call it that. In the fourth quarter, if that scheme has been working all through the first three, why would you go to prevent? Like, why at all? Why wouldn't you just keep doing that? Like, I just don't understand from a defensive perspective why you would even go to prevent. But teams do it all the time.
Look at the Dolphins. I mean, they literally did it last night. Like, they let the Ravens march down the field because they knew they'd get the ball back with minimal time.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't even know. I don't understand why you would even do that. Like, prevent, if you have this team figured out, like, this has worked for 3 quarters. They have not got points. Why wouldn't you just keep doing that?
It's because let them have the shallow. You tackle them in bounds. They probably are either using timeouts or bleeding the clock out themselves, and it's just that much easier to win. And if they do score, because you typically go to prevent right if you have a double-digit lead, you get the ball back and you can bleed out the clock, because you would assume that in driving 90 yards to score a touchdown, they've used their timeout, so you can just kneel down or run the ball and do short plays and just, eat up clock that way. So, I mean, it makes sense, right? But that's what I'm saying, is that it's almost a double-edged sword against the Ravens, because it almost seems to be in the Colts game and in the Vikings game, it almost enabled them to come back in the game.
Yeah, which is why, like, at this point, like, if you're the Dolphins, you've seen the Ravens do this exact same thing to 2 or 3 other teams. Why would you even do that?
Here was kind of the last point I wanted to make. The Dolphins really didn't seem to do prevent until the Ravens were down 10-22, in which case, if the game is realistically in hand. Mm-hmm. So I think that the Dolphins, to your point, they aren't playing that, like, really conservative prevent defense.
I don't understand prevent if you've seen Team B beat Team C, D, and E all when they go to prevent in the fourth quarter. Why would you suddenly go,
I think it's because
it's a good idea to do this?
It's almost, I think, because the Dolphins didn't get up until so much later in the game.
True.
Because
they've been working. They've been suffocating the Ravens the whole game.
No, I know, but for the Vikings, it's early third quarter, so you start playing conservative way more, and it almost gives them time to play their game and get back.
I don't know what the heck Zimmer's doing up there in Minnesota.
Same with the Colts. Like, the Colts did the exact same thing. So I'm saying that I think prevent plays into the hands of the Ravens, and that the Dolphins, by virtue of taking a 10-22 lead, with 2 minutes left, going to prevent actually makes sense there, because there's no way they're going to get 2 scores in 2 minutes. But anyway, that was just a theory. I wanted to see if it makes sense to you. One last thing. Stephen A. Smith said that Lamar Jackson's MVP hopes were kind of dashed, and they're in jeopardy. Lamar is currently 5th in terms of MVP odds by most books. He's at plus 1,000. Personally, I think it's Tom Brady, and clearing away Tom Brady. Do you think Lamar even has leg to stand on after this one for MVP hopes? Because I don't think so. I didn't think so coming into the week either.
I didn't even know Lamar was in the MVP. Since when is he in the MVP
I think
conversation?
he's in the MVP conversation because I think he's the offensive heart and soul of the team. Like the team doesn't function unless Lamar is functioning well. And
Okay.
like last night, like he didn't function. He didn't function well.
But I mean, before the game last night, 13 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, 2,400 yards, or less than that. It would have been 2,100 yards. Why is he even in this conversation? This
I
is
almost
not.
think it's because
This is not something he shouldn't be top 10.
I think it's because
There's no way.
It's because there's a lack of people almost. like it's Tom Brady, right? And no one wanted to be Tom Brady, and here we are.
Well, okay, hold on. Who am I going to take above Lamar Jackson for MVP right now? Tom Brady,
Stafford.
Matthew Stafford, Dak Prescott, Aaron Rodgers, Justin Herbert.
Rodgers and Prescott are about 200 behind Jackson. Herbert is 400.
Rodgers is behind Jackson?
Yeah, so here's the list. It's Allen, Brady, Murray, Stafford, Jackson, Rodgers, Prescott, Herbert, Tannehill, Carr, Mahomes, Burrow. And then we start getting to skill position guys.
Okay, hold on. Let me look up. What are Joe Burrow stats right now?
I mean, yeah, you can do that. While you do that, so Lamar Jackson, my model has him being a 200 overall quarterback. Do you like that kind of placement relative to what you know of the model? Do you think 200 is fair?
Well, wait, who's number one right now?
I don't know about number one, but I know that Tom Brady is a 300.
Tom Brady's 300.
Yeah,
so Lamar is 200?
Lamar is a 100 passer, and he compensates for it on the ground.
Okay, that makes sense. I was going to say, if you're saying he's a 200 passer, I am against that.
No, he's a 120 passer with an 80-yard rushing. Tom Brady is a 301 passer with a 293 overall because he's hurt by the fact that he has 3 fumbles and a rushing touchdown.
Okay,
not the rushing touchdown hurts him, but you know what I mean. It's a 1 to 3 ratio there.
We looked at when I did that Lamar Jackson thing right there. I tossed yesterday's game. So
yeah,
if you toss yesterday's game, 13 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, 2,100 yards. If you toss Burrow's last game against the Browns, because
I mean
that's his only bad game. I mean, he had the Packers game where he threw 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. That wasn't great.
How do you like Allen at 250?
Allen has quietly had an Aaron Rodgers-esque season so far. Besides that Jags game,
260.
I think before the Jags game, he's very comparable to Aaron Rodgers. So I mean, I'm taking Allen over Lamar Jackson. I think I'm taking Burrow over Lamar Jackson for MVP right now. I simply do not believe in Lamar, and I don't understand why people do. He's not that good. He just isn't.
So the model right now, it would have Brady, Allen, Stafford, and I don't even think Lamar is still in the conversation. I'm still finding people that are worth more.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. I think it is the most ridiculous thing I've heard this season to have Lamar Jackson as a top 5 MVP candidate right now.
Yeah, I'm surprised. I mean, if you want to say his hopes are in jeopardy, I think I'd agree. I was going to say I agree with Stephen A. that hopes are in jeopardy, but I don't know how much hopes
he doesn't have hopes. There are no hopes.
I think he has hopes. I just don't know how high those hopes should realistically.
Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Through 9 games, he's thrown 14 touchdowns. In 1974, that would be awesome. But that's not the league today. I don't know why are we giving this guy any benefit here? 14 touchdowns in 9 games? Are you serious?
The model would actually take Lamar over Kyler Murray. That's a hot one. Ooh.
That is the hottest one. What the heck?
I
need to look into that.
Okay, so Murray at 7 interceptions, 17 touchdowns, 2,276 yards. He has not been nearly as explosive on the ground. He only has 100. He has less than 150 yards, 3 touchdowns, and he has 7 fumbles.
Ooh, that's got to be the difference.
Yeah, I mean it's the fumbles. Let me go find Lamar. So Lamar has 639 yards on the ground, 2 touchdowns. He has 5.
Right?
That's not 7. I mean that'll be the difference. Will be 7 versus 5. Will probably, and again it's a very small difference, but Murray, essentially cancels out his ground game, whereas Lamar has, 639 rushing yards.
Okay, hold on. Let me look into something real quick because this might be.
Yeah, go ahead.
This might be the real deal sealer if this is true.
While you're doing that, I'm going to get film ready.
Okay. Russell Wilson only played 5 games,
Mm-hmm.
and he's got almost as many touchdowns as Lamar does.
Yeah.
No, get Lamar out of the MVP conversation. Lamar shouldn't be top 10. He should be top 15.
I didn't know he was in the conversation.
I don't know what the heck Stephen A is talking about here, but that is ridiculous to say that his MVP hopes are at risk here. They were at risk 3 weeks ago. Now they're gone.
Yeah. I don't know. I
is
didn't
ridiculous.
Like I said, I didn't know he had hopes in the MVP race.
Ridiculous.
Like he had hopes not in the same way that like Sam Darnold had hopes, but he probably had hopes in the same way that like Patrick Mahomes has hopes right now. They're there.
Mahomes over Lamar, honestly.
Oh, I think you're playing a dangerous game there with more interceptions and less on the ground. Like I think
but Lamar also has a significantly better defense to hold himself up on.
Yeah, but I think you can't cherry pick the stat and say that the interceptions and fumbles are so darning for Lamar when you can say that they're not. You can find a way to excuse them for Mahomes. Like Mahomes has the exact same amount of fumbles. He actually has more turnovers because he has 10 interceptions. Again, this is like league leading in interceptions.
But we know that 3 of those alone are off the hands of Tyreek Hill. Like there are different levels of there should be a stat. Interceptions off the hands of a receiver should not count against the quarterback. If you had that stat, I believe Mahomes would probably have fewer interceptions than Lamar does.
So Lamar is, by the model's estimation, a 208. Mahomes is a 204.
I would take Mahomes. If you put them on equal offenses and equal defenses, Mahomes wins every single time.
But you can't say that. Like, I know that we're saying defense psychologically is impacting Mahomes because it's forcing him to do the riskier throw. But I don't think that's fair to Lamar to penalize him for having a better defense.
Well, yeah, you can't penalize him for having a good defense, but you can't say that Lamar's better because he does have the better team around him.
Well, I know, but the model isn't saying that. The model is just saying that he turns it over less. I know you're saying like if you take away the interceptions that Tyreek Hill has just dropped inexplicably because Tyreek Hill has fallen off of the face of the earth, then yeah, Mahomes is better. But you can't do that because I guarantee you could go and find interceptions that Lamar has had that are just dumb ones that are just pure luck. Like I guarantee you we could play that game all day long.
I'd be curious to see actually how many he does have that aren't just totally his fault.
Yeah, I mean maybe that's something we should research. All right, let's do our.
I know for a fact this one's his fault.
Yeah, no, this one will be his fault when we get to it. Thanks for spoiling. All right, so the context on this one, the Ravens are on the 1 yard line. Like this is a fantastic punt by the Miami Dolphins that put the ball on the 1 yard line. This drive does, Tony spoiled it, but it goes 99 yards or 98 yards. And it ends up being an interception in the end zone. Or is this is the touchdown, is it not? This is the touchdown drive. Because we wanted this is the touchdown drive, Tony.
Yeah, this is the touchdown drive. I thought we were on the other one.
I'm silly. No, you're right. Okay, so let's look at it. So yeah, this one does end in a touchdown, but when we were going to do, but we decided not to because to my point, it's prevent defense. I don't know how much you're going to learn about the Dolphins packages if you start looking at prevent defense. Mm-hmm. So let's hop into this one.
Blurring in the blitz.
Yeah, not a surprise.
The simple out route. That's exactly what you should do. That's a good decision.
Yeah. No, that's the right play.
That's the right play.
All right, what do we got here? What are you thinking?
This looks like a disguise.
Heavy on the line.
They're heavy on the line, but I feel they're going to have to drop because they have that 3 receiver set at the top.
Zone for sure.
Yeah,
they're in a bunch.
And then they have the 1-on-1 down low.
Yeah, is this 11? I can't tell if that's a tight end. It's either 10 or 11, so.
It's 10 or 11, one of those.
Take that with a grain of salt. It's hard to tell. I need end zone film for this one. All right, so post snap read.
Yep, drop 2.
This guy looks like he's coming over for the running back. I think that's Rashad. No, that's not Rashad. Cordell Patterson. And wow, he is probably lucky that's not a safety.
And then a bad throw.
Let's look. I want to look at. Okay, he's throwing out of getting annihilated. Like I don't blame him on that one. Okay, let's watch it. So just keep an eye on the
Free release.
Yeah, I want to watch. Okay, he probably should not have free release, right?
Well, I'm talking about that defender coming right up the gut,
Oh no,
totally unblocked.
No, that's what I'm saying. The running back should not have released, right? He should have probably been on pass pro. Because watch him. Why is he releasing here? Like I'm sure it's in the play design that he's probably like the check down, right? But if you see this blitz, maybe this is on the center or the quarterback or just on the running back itself.
This is
himself.
on Lamar.
Well, I don't think.
I think this is on Lamar because the quarterback's job is to check.
No,
protection.
You're right. I mean, but it's also up to the center too. I mean, it depends, right? If you have Peyton Manning, like I know he could do the protection, but he'd also like Jeff Saturday to do the protection.
Well, yeah, Jeff Saturday is also one of the all-time great centers.
No, but that's my point, though, is that like I don't know who on this offense is responsible for setting the protection, but whoever did kind of probably botch this one, right?
Yeah, they did botch that one.
Well, like, look, he's not even
free release right up
exactly free release, and he's not even like looking until he's practically covered, so it's a horrible check down.
Yeah, no. Now the running back's looking and going, "Oh crap, I just got cut."
This is a credit to Lamar for not being a safety. Like I think any other quarterback, that's a safety. Look, again, that throw, it sucked, yes, but I think that's probably the right play is getting it above the line of scrimmage and just anywhere by receiver.
That's the right play, but at the same time, okay, he got out of the safety, he squared his feet, he jumped and tried to make the throw. Well, you have your feet squared. I mean, the guy's coming in on him. The guy's coming in on him, but he's not hit yet when he releases that ball. He should put that higher.
I'm not going to fault him for that play. Like, I know, like, Pro Football Focus, they do -2 for a worse play and +2 for a bad one, right? I mean, a good one, excuse me. I'd set that as 0. Maybe a -1, but I really don't think – I don't think you can – Was that a roughing? Oh, okay. They called that as a roughing against roughing the passer, I believe.
Oh, of course they did. Why wouldn't they?
Okay. Zone.
Horrible.
Quarters. Post snap, yeah. I mean, they're sending. Yeah, I mean, they look like they send everyone, and they drop 2. I love the drop 2. No, I mean, I like that a lot. I like dropping 2.
Then he just keeps taking the shorter stuff, 8-yard out routes.
Yeah, I mean, if you're the Dolphins, right? Like it's kind of the same principle almost. Just let them have it. Breaks that. I mean, that's just I think that's a breakdown. That doesn't. Oh, what? Oh, I bet he was marked down, right? Let's look at this one. So is this do you think this is designed?
Let's see. It's a designed.
Yeah, I think it's probably a handoff option and he read it right.
Yeah, it has to be an option.
So
with that many guys rushing, you probably want it in the arms of Lamar than you're running.
I would definitely, yeah. I guess they're saying he's marked down by the knees. I can see it from here.
Yeah, but I mean, come on. Lamar's just a fumble machine.
He did it. I mean, no, but he was marked down and he got the first down. Like, I mean.
Okay, yeah, he was marked down, but by a fraction of a second. That could have very easily just been I mean, either way, even if you're down, if the ball's out, you are not holding the ball right.
No, fair enough. I mean, he also, I think, got double teamed, did he not? Like, not making excuse. I'm just saying
he got double teamed for sure, but still.
Okay. Okay, they actually don't drop here. This is interesting. Oh, never mind.
Immediately drops 2. They seem to do it late. So, like, instead of just
they fooled me and Lamar.
that's a credit to Flores here. He's so good. He's fooling the analysis.
The reason I said that they didn't rush is because, I mean, like it looks.
Well, that's the play design, right? Because like.
That's definitely play design.
If you look at guys that, let's say you put 7 on the line, 5 rush, 2 are supposed to drop back. Normally, you can tell the 2 that are supposed to drop back if they do it immediately because they're more kind of like on their back.
They're hanging back, yeah.
Yeah, they're hanging back just a little bit. You can kind of tell. They're really trying to try to rush for a second so you look like you're going to come and then just back off.
I mean, they nailed like whatever they're doing. Like, I bought it.
Yeah, and that's what they're doing. They're all looking like they're going to rush, and then they're just taking 2 random ones to drop back.
I thought this dude maybe drops back, but this guy looks so engaged in the watch.
And then boom, he comes right off.
Yeah, I mean, they
make the
right
disguised play. Coverage.
Yeah, I mean, it works really well. I'll be fascinated to see. I think, okay, so like looking at the division, the Bengals aren't doing this. right? Like the Bengals defense is not doing this coverage scheme. I think the Browns can. Like I know JOK is on IR, but personally, in my estimation, JOK is like going to have an incredible linebacking career if he can just stay healthy. And I think that he's smart enough to be able to pull this off. Yeah. And the Steelers, obviously, I think Steelers can do this. I think Mike Tomlin is already doing this. Probably, he watched this game plan and was like, "Oh, whoa, I might take that." Yeah. Yeah, I mean, look at that. It's two different guys too.
Those each of those guys that dropped, they took one step. They took one step up, committed to rush in the passer, and then they both stepped back.
I think what helps too is that they're getting people home.
Yeah.
Like it's not just an empty threat that, rushing, like they're going to show 7 and then only rush 5. I mean, they're still getting guys home, which is what's kind of terrifying about this. All right. So this is just empty set.
Yeah.
I guess there's Andrews. So it's technically a 1, but Andrews is, in the slot.
Bad throw by Lamar. Shocker.
Okay. Is that a bad throw? I mean, it's not great, but I guess I'd like to look at things multiple times before I just say bad, right? Like nuance. Yeah, no, that's just too high. Pressure. I mean, that's a hospital throw. That almost killed your guy.
Yeah, you should make that throw. If you are an NFL quarterback at any level, you should make that throw. That is not a hard throw.
Well, there's only one level at the NFL.
Well, there's multiple levels in the NFL. Let's not get it twisted.
I was joking. When you say at any level, it typically people are saying college and the NFL. So I was just making a good joke. All right, 11. I mean, it's every time. And then on this one, yep, there's 55 ready to pop over. And I don't know if is 55 dropping back for the Dolphins. No, this isn't the play.
No,
the next one.
Let's see.
Or is he just making the right read as the linebacker to? No, I mean, he comes up. He's coming up. I don't know. I think he might be reading that, though.
Yeah, it looks like he's reading it.
No, it was just a good read.
He just missed.
We got there.
Yeah, I mean, he tried. Right read, wrong execution.
Interesting. Okay, so this is a boot, right? And it's just a bad throw. What's the is that because I think there's a flag here on Coleman for holding. See if they cut to a replay of it.
Yep.
Oh, nope. Offensive holding.
Yeah, offensive holding right there.
I was thinking it would be defensive holding. Wait, what? Okay, hold on. How did that work? It must have been defensive holding because they wouldn't move them forward for offensive holding, right?
That's true.
So it must have it must have been offensive. Yeah, I'm confused.
Another free release. That was a good throw.
That was really good, actually. That's a throw with a guy screaming at you too.
Yeah, I mean, you had the guy coming off the bottom.
Look at this guy.
The running back just completely botches it.
What is that pass pro? Like, you know what your job is, right? It's not to pick up. It's not to go at double team first. It's to go worry about the free release of the guy on the line. He right there.
He just comes. Yeah, he ran right by. He touched shoulder pads with the running back.
I was about to say they practically touched shoulders. Look at this. Like, oh my God, what are you doing? Even I'm an idiot, and I know that. I'm sure I wouldn't in the heat of the game, but even the idiot from the stand.
I'm also not getting paid millions of dollars to do that.
I mean, I could be ESPN. I'm waiting.
Come on, give us a contract.
Look at this. He takes the step up. Watching this in replay. It almost looks like he's about to do it right, and then he gets in position and wrong guy. Look at that free release. Come on. You practically.
Wait a minute. That's not the wrong guy.
What do you mean?
Back that up.
Yeah. It feels to me like the wrong guy because that blocker, the lineman, the tackle already had the guy coming on.
Okay, hold on.
Yeah.
So now you play it slow.
Okay.
Okay, one more for
I think this is him misreading.
Well, hold on. If you go one more, though, look.
Is he catching this guy?
Oh. He's catching that guy. He can only be one spot. So it was either that lineman was going to have to do,
I think
the two-hander.
I think what was probably supposed to happen is that lineman maybe should have clamped down as opposed to kind of falling backwards, slide in.
I don't think the lineman did anything wrong. I don't think the running back did anything wrong either,
Is
seeing
that
that
just
view. I
is
just
that
think there
just
was
on?
one too many guys.
Yeah, I mean that maybe. Yeah, you must be right, and that's why that pass is there. You know what I mean? Like that's why the
Because
pass is there. Because
if you look at traditionally a blocking running back, when they go to block, if you look at like the camera view from behind the pocket, traditionally the running back steps up and covers the middle, like any hole that there might be in the middle. They're not looking to the outside, and I think that was the right play right there for him. You block the middle so you don't get a guy free releasing, and at the very worst, you hope the guy has to run around and takes long enough to run around rather than running up the middle,
yeah.
that he can get that throw off. Which realistically, if that's what it's supposed to do, then that's exactly what happened.
Here's the thing. Okay, so I think that there is something. I think you're right that guy read it correctly. That I think what happens is the left tackle and the running back read it correctly. I think what's happening is that because it's this weird cover two, the drop two, defense. That I think the line isn't getting this correctly. Because watch over here, as these two guys drop back, and then these two linemen are held with nothing, and that's why the free release is over here.
Yeah, but I mean, how can they do anything in that situation?
No,
like they can't really like
I'm
shuffle
saying
over.
I'm crediting the Dolphins with that.
Oh yeah, for sure.
No, it's very interesting.
That's
No,
just a
you're
great
you're
throw.
absolutely right that he's covering. He's picking up a guy, right? But I almost would be inclined to say, and this is just me being an idiot over here, I would like him to pick up the free release and hope that these two can kind of slide together to.
Well, I guess you're
eliminate
also
that middle
thinking the
guy.
shortest distance between 2 points is a straight line. So you'd rather take up the guy that's going to get there quicker on the straight line than the guy that has to run around.
No, that's fair. I guess you're also playing the result too, right? Like,
yeah,
we know that he got like he was half a second from getting home.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this really is just a credit to this drop too, where you've eliminated two of their offensive linemen and you still get a guy home, and you're only rushing, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Dolphins. You're only rushing 5 Dolphins, but you're practically getting the result of a 7-man rush.
Mm-hmm.
I think I need to adopt this playbook myself. I love this. I mean, it's working great. I'm glad one of us realized that the running back is not being an idiot.
Can't knock him too hard.
No, I mean that's what I'm saying. Is I'm an idiot. That's why I am doing this from home. And I'm learning, guys. Okay.
Okay. Oh, he made that. He made the rusher up at the top stutter there for a second.
He froze him.
He froze him. Yeah. They're just playing on the line.
Yeah, I mean 1, 2, 3, 4. They're not. Yeah, they're still doing this drop too, though. Like, I think is it 21 who's responsible for Andrews here?
It has to be. He just kind of looks like he gave up.
Yeah, like so. Just watch Andrews. Free release off
Andrews
the line.
comes across. Yep. 21's supposed to get him.
He's practically just like running a
thinks he has him locked up, is looking at Lamar, and then Mark Andrews just takes off.
Yeah, like I don't know what he's doing.
About as easy as it gets. Like he just kind of, I think he might be thinking, I got Andrews. Is Lamar going to run up the middle? Do I have to cover that? And then Andrews just goes later.
If you believe the scheme, that's why you're dropping 2, because that's why the drop 2 works so well. Is that the drop 2 acts as like a 7-man rusher, but then you have people sitting on Lamar practically.
Yeah,
like,
no, I think you're right. I think 21 just didn't get that.
Yeah, these dudes are both looking at Lamar. Like, I mean, heck, this guy is too. Like, I think you've got all 3 linebackers sitting here looking at Lamar.
Yeah. I respect. Didn't trust him or something. I don't know what happened.
I think he's okay. So look, watch him immediately after the play.
Okay, and then he bounces off.
He just starts looking around. Like, I think he got put on an island, and his body type probably. I mean, to be fair, like I don't know if you can expect him to cover the tight end in that situation, right?
Yeah, he doesn't look like one of the taller guys. I mean, he's like a dang near a helmet taller.
Okay, I'll find Andrews. Actually, let me find 21 on the roster. Can you find Andrews' measurements, like height and weight?
Oh, yeah. Mark Andrews, height and weight. Let's see what we got. Mark Andrews. Oh my God.
I know he's a monster, but how much of a monster is he?
He's a 6'5", 256 monster.
Good Lord Almighty!
Yeah.
I believe I found our man, and he's 5'11" and 190 pounds.
Yeah, that checks out. Like, he should not be covering Mark Andrews.
Yeah, so I think he just got put on an island, and he's like, he's kind of waiting for someone to come. No, okay, he's 6'1" and 205. I get
better.
it. I
That's
still get
better,
it,
but still.
Yeah, I mean, just look at him. Like, I don't know, is he expecting 24 to be up here? Like,
he's probably expecting one of those linebackers to sink a little bit farther.
Yeah, but I mean,
I feel like three guys
look
looking
at how
at
they're
Lamar is a
playing,
little
though.
excessive.
I mean, this is nickel, right? So you should know that the linebackers are going to be down here on the rush or dropping 2.
Yeah,
and like you
they're
should.
playing,
I guess
so. They're playing nickel on the line, but one of the guys jumps up. So I think if you hold that guy back and cover the middle with 21 on Andrews, this play might actually work.
Yeah, you're right. They do send. I don't know. I'm just saying. Yeah, I think at the end of the day, 21 blew it. Good Lord, look at Andrews right here.
They always beat those guys up so much.
No wonder he got that touchdown so easily.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to the rest of our show. That was our weekly film session. We'll get back on it tomorrow. Well, not tomorrow, but next week.
Next week.
Do you know what next week's Thursday Night Football is? Because that'll be interesting to look at. We've had some really weird games where we've had to break down. Like Jets Colts was such a weird game to look at. Let me find it for us. Week 11 Thursday Night Football is ESPN is loading
Falcons
slowly. Oh, at Falcons too.
At Falcons.
How many 28-3 memes are we gonna see?
A lot. I'm sure it's gonna be never ending.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so my Dolphins pick last night. Well, I guess I should have picked the Dolphins last night. It is probably going to be my worst pick of the week because I felt so confident in the Ravens, and the result we got was so different than what I was expecting. So let's hop on over to win-loss surprise or best, worst, and surprises. Whatever the two names. Tony, what was your? Let's go worst because there were so many worst picks last week.
Okay, my worst pick, all of them. Just about every single pick of mine was terrible. And if I would have bet this week, I would have lost my house.
I think if you bet the opposite of everything of all your picks, you would have
come out a millionaire.
You would have made a fortune.
I know there was a graphic they did. There was a 5-game parlay with a bunch of underdogs, and if you would have bet, it was like $1,000 on it, you would have walked away with 56 grand.
Good Lord, I wish.
I don't think anybody did it, or maybe somebody did. It wouldn't surprise me if somebody did, but still,
someone did. I'm sure somewhere, but not me. Not me at all. I know that I did not have a good record. I went 6-8, but you also went 5-9. So we're gonna move on from this week shortly.
Last week was just bad.
Neither one of us wants to focus on it. Yeah. My worst pick was Browns-Bengals because I knew that the Bengals had a bad secondary and still picked them anyway, and then watched as that secondary basically got lit on fire. That and the Browns defense just looked so good. I mean, it's the first time in forever that they're healthy, right? So
yeah,
that kind of skewers the result a little bit.
I also think that the OBJ thing, like him being gone, has just unlocked a new team for this Brown squad.
Yeah, no, absolutely. All right, let's go to the next one. Best pick of the week for me was Packers at Chiefs, just because I feel like I really nailed Jordan Love.
That was a good one. I'm going to go with my best was definitely Cardinals versus Niners until Tom convinced me to flip. and then, of course, I lost for the third time this year. So after that, I'm going to have to go with Steelers versus Bears just because Steelers had a better offense. I kind of saw that.
Is it every week that we say, this is the week you won't listen to me, and then you listen to me?
Pretty much. That's usually how it goes.
Sorry about that. Okay, so my surprise pick of the week was the Falcons blowing a lead late and then actually coming back to win the game. They were up 24-6 in the fourth quarter. The Saints then took a 25-24 lead, and the Falcons actually kicked a field goal to win the game. So the Falcons looked competent for the first time since 28-3.
Yeah, that was definitely that was one that I thought was going to go the other way. My surprise, I'm actually going to go Browns-Bengals because I wasn't confident
Fair.
that the Browns would be able to go put up a good performance in the midst of all these distractions with the drama queen Odell. They looked like a completely different team, though, and Baker, he looked pretty efficient again. He didn't put up the most amazing stats in the world. Nick Chubb did a lot for this team, but Baker looked good.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, you know what? Maybe this is what we'll see now with OBJ gone. I mean, that offense did look crisp and clean, so who knows? All right, let's hop on over. It's time to make some picks that we'll be complaining about a week from now in best, worst, and biggest surprise. Let's get this one started with Bills and Jets. The Bills, they're an 11-point favorite coming off of a 6-9 loss to the Jacksonville Jaguars. The over-under set is 47.5. Tony, I'm going to take the Bills, but I'm almost inclined to take the Jets to cover the spread. Should I take the Jets to cover the spread? Which feels crazy, right? That feels like a not normal statement.
I'm taking the Bills. I simply cannot believe in the Jets that much, but should I?
You almost
and I think it depends on your quarterback. You almost want to. If it's Zach Wilson, I think he's not
it's
good.
Mike
he's
White.
Not going. If it's Mike White,
White is the starter.
If it's Mike White, Jets cover.
Yeah, I agree.
I just think that the Bills looked so bad against the Jags. I don't know if it's a fluke. If it's not a fluke, they could win this game.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. The Bills' defense looked good. It's just the offense just decided not to show up and play football. All right, let's hop on over. Let's take a ride up. Well, I guess this would be down to the football team, where Tampa Bay is favored almost by 10 points. It's 9.5. The over/under is set to 51. I mean, that's the Bucs, right? It's got to be the Bucs.
It's got to be the Bucs. The football team has continued to disappoint. This game certainly is not going to be a turnaround game for them. They're just too good, and I think the spread. I'm surprised the spread's not wider, honestly.
Yeah, no, I agree with you there. I'm also a little bit surprised. I mean, I think it's just got to be because you're kind of expecting the Washington football team to seem to play good defense almost. Like they've been improving. I guess. All right, let's go on to Atlanta, Dallas. The Falcons, they're taking on the Cowboys. The Cowboys are coming off of a weird loss to the Denver Broncos that I really don't know how to make any kind of assessment of. Like I said, all of the AFC teams, are they good? I don't know. Are the Broncos good? They would seem to have indicated that they are by beating one of the most complete rosters in the NFL. But this is a good get-right game as the Cowboys are favored by 8 with the over-under set to 54.5. Tony, who you got?
They better win this one. The Cowboys, I think, are going to, but if they don't, it's time to kind of look, I guess, inwards and see what the problem is, because this is one of the most complete rosters in the league. If they lose this one, then something's going on, because they should be winning all these games.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly, it's a kind of a head scratcher as to how they lost to Denver so badly. I'm picking the Cowboys just because I think that the Cowboys have a good enough defense that they can shut down the Falcons, and a good enough offense that they can probably, if it has to come to a shootout, go blow for blow with them, because the Falcons do not have a good defense at all. All right, next game, Saints-Titans. What a weird set of results we got from these two last week. The Saints, they lost to the Falcons, as we've already mentioned a couple of times, and the Tennessee Titans, without Derrick Henry, came and just shellacked the Rams in Sunday Night Football in a game that just felt like the perfect cap to a weekend of disaster for everybody gambling. Are you taking the Saints here, or are you taking the Titans? Because I'm actually inclined to take the Titans, and I don't feel comfortable saying that.
I'm going to take the Saints if Simeon can start and stay in all game. I think the Titans, they won on the back kind of a fluky week in the NFL. I think just a lot of teams fell off. A lot of teams that were supposed to be great just were not. I think the Titans won last week because they didn't get Matthew Stafford. They got the science teacher that looks like Matthew Stafford. They were completely different people. I don't know what was going on. He had a bad week. I'm going to chalk that one up to just Stafford didn't look good. But I don't believe in the Titans.
I'm going to take the Titans because I'm actually buying – if I had to buy stock in an NFL unit right now, I'd buy stock in the Titans defense because, in the offseason when I picked them to win the AFC South, it was because I liked, obviously the offense, but I thought that their defense had made enough improvements as a rushing team to kind of compensate for their poor secondary play. That defensive unit reminds me a little bit of the Buccaneers of the AFC. No secondary what to speak of, but a good rushing front that really gave the Rams some fits. So I'm going to take the Titans because I think that Derrick Henry is a loss, but I think they could play without him and maybe get a win over a Saints team that's reeling with the loss of Jameson. Kind of doesn't have a direction. All right, our next game, it's Tony's favorite. It's his favorite pick. He said that this man would be a Hall of Famer. It's Trevor Lawrence traveling for the first time to the Indianapolis Colts in his young career. Tony, I'm sure that you have Jacksonville lighting up the Colts, and you question how possibly Vegas could give the Colts 10 points. Is that the case?
Yeah, I really have no idea. You got me. I definitely didn't say that Trevor Lawrence is going to be a bust, and I'm loving that pick right now. I don't believe in Trevor Lawrence. I don't believe in the Jags. Last week was a fluke. I take nothing from it. Indianapolis.
I am a little bit scared of the Colts right now because I feel like the Jets put up so much, like in terms of points on them and yardage that I was just like, what? That's the Jets. And then, the Jaguars had a scrappy win. So I'm going to take the Colts, and I'm going to take them by the spread. But I want it on the record that I don't feel comfortable doing so.
Okay, fair enough.
All right, next one. Ooh, this will be a sad one. It's the Detroit Lions. They're heading to Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh, the 8-point favorite. I think Jared Goff may cry after this one. Like Dan Campbell cried after a loss that the Lions had in a last-second loss to the Rams, I believe. Jared Goff is going to cry after this one because it's just going to be ugly, and he's going to question why he's playing in Detroit.
I honestly don't really think so.
Oh, okay.
To be totally honest with you, I'm going to take the Steelers, but I feel like this is one of those games where the Lions could backdoor win this one. If the Steelers, maybe they're having a little bit of a stuttery game. If the Lions can come out fiery, start hot like they did against the Rams, this is a very potentially winnable game for the Lions.
I just think that the Steelers defense is going to be so suffocating that Jared Goff is going to throw balls away on fourth down like he has in some really bad situations.
Potentially, but I also don't think that the Steelers offense is all that.
I don't think it's all that, but if you wanted to play a really bad defense, there are the Lions for you.
That is true.
Let's move on over to New England. The Cleveland Browns are taking on the New England Patriots. The Patriots, almost 3-point favorite, but they're 2.5. The over-under is 45.5. It's sunk a little bit. It's gone up a little bit since we put the scores in our script. We're not a fantasy show, but I do want to say the only active running back on the Cleveland Browns offense is Dearness Johnson. If you don't have him and he's still on waivers, go grab him because the Browns are going to be so run-heavy in this one. And as they are just generally a run-heavy team, I'm inclined to say go pick them up. I picked them up after that weird game against the Broncos. But because of those running back absences, I'm inclined to take the Patriots.
I'm going to take the Browns because Nick Chubb is not actually technically out yet. He's not official. He could still play in this game. It's COVID, but he still can technically play in this game. It would be hard, and it's probably not going to happen, but he could.
Is he vaccinated?
It's unlikely. I believe so. So I think he just has to put up a couple of negative days, and he can still play in this. Even with that, though, I'm still taking the Browns. I think this team looks so different without Odell, the whiny, terrible receiver that he is, and just the whole team benefited with him gone. That coupled with the Browns defense really stepping up, showing great signs. I hope that they can repeat that performance because I do like the Browns to make the playoffs and maybe go a little deep if they can stay healthy. If they can get healthy and they can play like they did last week. So I'm actually going to take the Browns in this one.
Okay. We're really going head to head. I could either catch you after really starting behind you, or you could regain all your leads on me.
I almost actually flipped to Patriots when I read what you wrote, and I was like, not doing it again. I'm not going over it. I almost did it. I wrote a Browns take. I backspaced all of it, typed Patriots, and said, nope, not doing it.
Yeah, you know what? This will be the week it works.
I know. That's exactly what I said, too. This is going to be it.
I also say that every week when I give you a take. All right, let's go on to Vikings-Chargers. Chargers, they're a 3-point favorite. The over-under is set to 53. I'm done with the Vikings. I'm done. I'm so done with the Vikings. They had the game against the Baltimore Ravens, and they just gave it away. I'm pretty sure they threw 20 screens, and it made me tear my hair out a little bit because I was like, oh, look, it's a screen. I figured out your thing, and I'm like, oh, God, that means the NFL defense has definitely figured it out.
Yeah.
I'm done. I probably just condemned the Chargers to a loss, but I'm done with the Vikings. They're not good.
I can confirm Tom was very enthusiastically texting our group chat that we have that the Vikings are horrible and Zimmer is not a good play caller at all.
Screens. I hate them.
The screens are just, and there's so many of them. I'm taking the Chargers here as well. I don't believe in the Vikings either.
All right, let's go on to one that will actually depress me. It's Panthers, Arizona. We do have Cam Newton, but he's not going to start. Please stop saying he's going to start on Twitter. Please stop. When you say Cam Newton will start with the Arizona Cardinals, in my eyes, you are saying you don't understand the NFL. Anyway, I think that he'll have a package or two. I think he'll play in the game, and God forbid PJ Walker get hurt. He's going to have to play in the game. But no, he's not. He's not starting. Cardinals, and they probably get the spread.
You better hope he doesn't start because he is awful. I'm taking the Cardinals here, irregardless of who's starting. I don't think Cam Newton's the answer. If you understood football, you wouldn't have signed Cam Newton because he's expensive and he's not going to do anything.
I want to go on a little bit of a tangent here. So how the NFL actually works, right? Monday, film and healing for the players. The coaches begin to build a game plan based on who the medical personnel are saying will be available for Sunday, right? Tuesday, players have it off. Coaches are building a game plan. They are building it with the consultation of the quarterback, so the quarterback can tell them, this is what I feel comfortable doing against this defense. And so the quarterback will know the game plan on Tuesday evening, and he will be able to implement it on Wednesday with his team. Wednesday, you're implementing first down and second down plays of pretty much any variety. On Thursday, you are going over the film of Wednesday, making corrections and adjustments, and then you're doing third down plays. On Friday, you are going through a quick game walkthrough, and then on Saturday, you're doing special teams work, and then you are either going to the hotel or you are going on the plane. Cam Newton, at best, will have gone through the walkthrough. That does not mean he's going to play. He will start. That's impossible. I think you are asking for problems if you start him. The coaching staff has built a game plan around PJ Walker. Please stop saying that Cam Newton is going to start. If he starts, it will be a disaster, and the Panthers cannot afford for this to be a disaster.
Frankly, I think you give Cam Newton 10 weeks to study for this game, and if he starts, it'd be a disaster. I don't believe in him.
I think that I believe in him with time. The fan believes in him with time. The analyst says stop. The analyst wrote many articles as to saying stop, and it could write many more. But the fan believes. All right, let's hop on over to Philadelphia and Denver. I need to stop ranting about Cam Newton for a little bit because I believe in him, but I don't believe in him. It's very complicated. Denver's 2.5 favorite. As we said, they came off the weird win against the Cowboys. The over-under set to 45.5. The Broncos, once again, they're in the 4 p.m. slot. They exist to have a bad 4 p.m. game.
Yep.
I'm inclined to take the Broncos, and I don't know if I feel good about saying so. What do you think?
I'm taking the Broncos. I think that they showed up as the Broncos that I kind of thought they would be coming into the season against the Cowboys. I don't know if that was a fluky week. All the teams did that. I hope they can carry it on. Even if they don't, this Eagles team is not that good, so I think the Broncos can carry it out either way.
Yeah. A quick few stats for you. So the Eagles are actually a top 5 rushing team. The Broncos are a top 5 rushing defense. And if the Eagles have to go to the air, they are a below average team in the air. The Broncos are actually an above average defense against passing. So I do believe in the Broncos, but I also don't believe in the Broncos. I'm clearly a very conflicted person. So I am going to take the Broncos. I don't feel great about it, though. Let's go on to Seattle, Green Bay. Green Bay is a 3-point favorite. The over-under is set to 49.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Packers. I think that kind of like we were just talking about, Cam Newton hasn't practiced this week. Neither has Aaron Rodgers, but the coaches have said, yeah, this is very different. The coaches have actually said that Aaron Rodgers has been calling in 24/7, all the meetings. He's been there every single time. One of the coaches actually said it feels like Aaron Rodgers is living in his pocket with how much screen time they have between the two of them. So he's been very, very active. There's a slim chance that he does not play Sunday as well. So if Love starts, I think this is going to be a much closer game. I think if Rodgers plays, they win this one handily. It's not even a question. Wilson's going to be cool and all, but he's not going to be that great. And I think that if Jordan Love plays, Seahawks win this.
I was going to say that's my take exactly, except I think it'll be a little bit closer than that. I don't think I'm going to say handily. But I also know that, Wilson has been out for some time, so that, could very easily be the case. All right, let's move on to Sunday Night Football. This one will be an interesting one. It's Chiefs at Raiders. We talked about it on the top of the show. Chiefs 2.5 favorite. The over-under set to 52. I was kind of stunned when I saw that the Chiefs are the favorite in this one. And I don't know. I don't know. Who are you taking?
I actually wrote the article on this one for this week. I was very surprised when they were the favorite on this one. I do think that the Raiders are going to win. Basically, the formula is the Chiefs are great offensively, terrible defensively. and Raiders are just good on both. And I would rather have the team that's good on both than crazy good on one and crazy bad on the other. So I think the Raiders win this one.
I don't know. This is such a hard one to pick. I want to go Chiefs because if we get the offense that we saw against the Giants for the Raiders, then I think the Chiefs can win this one.
Okay.
But I don't feel great about it. I don't feel great about picking the Kansas City Chiefs, and that should not be a thing like that I thought I would say. All right, let's go to the last one of the week. It's Rams 49ers. The Rams are a 3.5 favorite. The over-under set to 49. I know the Rams are coming off of a bit of a weird loss, but I am definitely inclined to take the Rams over in this one because the 49ers are 0-4 at home.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Rams on this one, and I don't think it's going to be that close of a game. I think the Niners aren't a bad team. I just think this is going to be a big bounce back week for the Rams.
Yeah, I don't know what's up with the 49ers. It's I don't know. I mean, they're an interesting team, right? Like I think that they probably should have been better defensively speaking than they have been. They played fine. The offense is where the struggles are. I don't know. I think it's the Rams, and I'll be fascinated to see how much OBJ plays, and I'm assuming we'll get Vaughn this week, so that'll be fun.
That should be fun, and I think he's gonna do a lot. He can still perform.
Yeah. All right, everybody. That's our show for the weekend. Thanks for tuning in. We will see you next time. I'm Tom Zwiller.
Tony Nemedi.
Have a good night, everybody.